Welcome everyone, Lucard here with another movie review. Today's movie, Memorial Valley Massacre from 1989. It's directed by Robert C. Hughes and it stars John Carey and Cameron Mitchell. Cameron Mitchell is an entrepreneur who is using this campground to fund his future projects for the area. He wants to put shopping malls and hotels and I think a casino or something. Anyway, make it a big, modern place. However, the campgrounds are not quite ready. This movie is on the 50 pack called Chilling Classics. These are 50 packs that are from Mill Creek or Echo Bridge, and it's basically a bunch of B movies. And some are hidden gems. Let me tell you, some of them are either really good or just flat out funny. So the park ranger gives a speech to the masses and tells them basically that they're going to have to rough it. So of course some of them leave. The part that really tickled me is that half the people drove in and half the people walked in to this new campground. This is in the middle of nowhere. How are they walking in where the campers are as they can't put up a tent, they run into trees, etc., etc. So the park ranger is met by David, who is the son of Cameron Mitchell's character, and he just wants to be there to help. But of course the park ranger sees him as kind of a spy, so he immediately does not trust him. And he's like, let me do my job. Then we are introduced to the hermit. I don't know why they call him the hermit, because he looks more like a caveman. But I digress. So the hermit is hiding in a storage shed, and he gets annoyed at a barking dog. He just goes absolutely apeshit in the storage shed. Then we're introduced to the three musketeers, Tom, Wendy, and Rick. Now, Tom and Rick are trying to get with Wendy the whole time, and she's just kind of teasing him along the whole way. So Walter, the fat obnoxious kid, decides he wants to ride his motorbike throughout the woods, which is illegal in the area apparently. And David, the boss's son, sees this, so David goes to him and he's like, you can't do this, and he takes his keys away.
Oh, bug off, asshole.
Hey, did you hear me?
I don't see no stinking badge.
I don't see no stinking keys.
Hey, what the hell?
And then George ultimately takes the keys away and puts them in his office. Now, in pretty much the very next scene, Walter breaks into George's office, steals back the keys, and also steals George's timepiece, which was sentimental to him because it was given to him by his father. Next, we get introduced to General Mintz and his wife, Pepper. Another character we need to talk about is a guy called Deke, who is kind of the handyman, I guess, of the campground, and he works for George. And he's good friends with George. And he's known him for years. He's known him since Nam. And now we get Deke kind of telling the story. George's son was kidnapped like 20 years ago and was actually brought to Memorial Valley. And George has been looking for him ever since. So now we cut to Tom, Wendy, and Rick flirting in their tent. And they get spooked by a bear. Anyway, so they run out of their tent and they see Walter's dead body. So Walter's body gets brought back to camp, to the main camp room. And David wants to call the police, but George does not. George is like, I'll take care of this, blah, blah, blah. So George decides to put together a hunting party to go hunt the bear, because that's what they think killed Walter. So David goes and talks to the biker gang to see if they would like to participate in the bear hunt. And they're like, nah, we're good. Two of the bikers decide to go on a hunt for Walter's bike because they can sell it for parts. The two bikers ultimately get lost in the woods, shocker, and they come upon this cave, which is where the hermit stays. So they're looking around the cave. Eddie, the lead biker, finds a newspaper article, says something about a kidnapped boy, and Leon, the kind of chubby biker guy, finds a skull and he holds it up to the camera.
Check it out! Oh, the guys in the bowling league could see this.
So Leon decides to go outside to check out the skull in the sunlight, leaving Eddie by himself. So Eddie's looking around, and all of a sudden the hermit drops out of nowhere and kills Eddie with an axe. Then Leon rushes in, sees what's going on. He's like, ah, and he runs out. So the hermit runs after him and ultimately gets a spear, spears him, and shoves him into this pit full of spikes. So the hermit breaks in to George's office and he sees a picture of his family from when he was little. So that makes him go apeshit again, and he destroys the entire office. Then he runs outside. He goes to the Jeep, and he grabs all the wires. He's yanking them out. So now they can't leave. Nobody can leave. None of the vehicles are working. He went and did to all the vehicles, we find out later. Tom, of the Three Musketeers, runs to tell General Mintz what's going on. But of course, Mintz kind of blows him off. He's like, whatever, you know. And we see the hermit fooling with some kind of flammable box on General Mintz's RV. We go back to Mintz inside of the RV, and Pepper says,
"You smell gas."
Probably the most expensive effect of the movie. All right, then we go to Wendy, who gets attacked by the hermit in her tent. And in the kind of most bizarre part of the movie that I found, at least, the hermit like kind of feels her up, and it's weird, and it's not necessary. I don't know. I just found that out of character, even for him, at this point. And anyway, ultimately he bear hugs Wendy to death. The kill that while it was cool looking, it was the character I liked the most, because Deke was easily one of the best characters in this movie. Then all of a sudden, the hermit, at least we think we don't see him do this, but we assume he jumps into this bulldozer. Yes, a bulldozer, and shoves a car on top of the other three biker members. It's so ridiculous that you can't help but laugh. Okay, now it switches to morning, and George is running after the hermit. So George finally gets to the hermit, and he's like, "Are you Stephen Webster?" And the hermit guy's kind of thinking for a second, and he pulls out George's timepiece, because he got the timepiece off of Walter from earlier. So George is like, "My son," and they're about to embrace, and George steps on a booby trap. Then at the very end, the ambulance is there with George's body, and David identifies him as George and basically says that the park is now closed. Let nature take it back. And it ends on a big hero shot of the hermit on top of a hill. All right, so what did I not like about this movie? Well, number one, it does start off pretty slow. It's a bunch of character work in the beginning, and it's a bunch of basically it's a bunch of 80s stereotypes, like the bikers and the kind of horny teenage kids, which the Three Musketeers, etc. Also, some of the acting is pretty stiff, particularly some of the ladies in this movie. I don't know if they were actresses or not. It doesn't seem like it. I mean, overall, this movie's it's pretty goofy in some parts, but that kind of adds to it as well. One of my biggest complaints is the casting, in that Cameron Mitchell's in this movie for maybe a minute. William Smith is in it a tiny bit more, maybe 3 or 4 minutes total. Each guy could have definitely have had a bigger, better part, and probably the movie would have been a little more memorable. It's kind of a light slasher, so if you're looking for blood and guts, this is not your movie. Now, what did I like about this movie? Like I said earlier, it's goofy, but that kind of adds to the charm of it. Compliment two of the actors, Mark Mears, who plays David. I thought he was a great leading man. He's very natural. You believed everything he said. And apparently this is the only movie he ever did, which I'm kind of surprised about. And the other actor that I really liked was Jimmy Justice, who plays Deke, who was kind of the doomsayer, kind of the crazy Ralph, except he wasn't crazy. And apparently he only did one other movie called Beverly Hills Brats. I appreciate that they tried to have somewhat of a message in this movie, which kind of sets it apart from all the other slashers and stuff, because most of them are just straight slashers without any rhyme or reason. But this one kind of does have a little bit of the environmental storyline going on, which it's all right. There's a weird wholesomeness about this movie, except for a couple of scenes, like I said, when the hermit was feeling up Wendy, just bizarre and out of character. But overall, it's kind of one of those slashers you can actually kind of watch with the family, if you don't mind an F-bomb every once in a while. There's not many. So this movie currently is available on Blu-ray through Vinegar Syndrome. It's also streaming on Amazon Prime and the Epix channel. And it's also, if you have a Roku, it's streaming for free on the Raygun channel, ZPTV, and the Halloween channel. So this brings the total kill count in this movie to 14. 15 if you count a dog. My overall score of this movie, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. It's kind of right in the middle. It's not, I wouldn't say it's a good movie. I wouldn't say it's an awful movie. It's just kind of right in the middle. But it does have its charms. And it is a fun hour and a half. I didn't feel like I wasted my time at all. So if you want a fun little slasher that you don't have to really think about too much, this one may be it for you. So I will see you guys again next time. Remember, stay spooky. Happy Memorial Day.